Hello.
Hey, you two. How are you going?
Oh, look at us first in tonight.
Yeah, can you hear me? Am I on
Yep,
mute? Oh,
yep.
okay. What,
No,
what did
all
you
good.
say, Sarah?
I said, look at us all in already.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's nice to
Yeah,
see friendly people up and early and
I
yeah.
know. I was me thinking I was late. I was like, oh my God, quick, I gotta go. How's
Yeah.
your week been?
Yeah, my week's been good, except I've been talking too much today. My voice is like,
Well, we'll
that's
be
not
like
like
that.
me to talk too much.
Right, we'll be croaky together because I've been sick for the last
Oh,
10 days. So anyway.
yeah, you're not going so okay, Sarah?
No, so I was off sick all last week. I went back to work yesterday, but I've just got the worst cough ever. So it's just this whole virusy thing going round.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask all our healers in the room tonight any suggestions for a cough remedy.
I can tell you a cough usually means that you're not feeling like the master in your universe. So
Mm,
usually like a child who's going to school
yeah.
and they're got a cough, it kind of means that there's something going on where they're not the master of their unit, like there's maybe bullying or something that's triggered their insecurity.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
could you place anywhere, Sarah, where
I can place a bit of that actually. Yeah. Well,
are you feeling up to being the demo or
yeah, I'll give her a go. As I've kind of been God, frantically writing lots of stuff, and I've kind of looked at the questions, and now I think I've overthought stuff. And anyway,
oh, you naughty. Okay, yeah. Most people say, "Oh, Claire, should I look at the questions first?" I say no. So that's interesting.
I went looking in the manual for it. I was like, okay, I'm sure there'll be a grow model somewhere. Anyway, that's okay.
That's good. Then we'll push the answers one step further.
Oh
How's
God.
every
No, I
how's
haven't looked at it honestly.
how's everyone else going?
Good, thanks.
Good. Look at all bright, sparkly Haley with your pink.
Yeah, I was in black and then I thought, oh no, I'll go the pink today. Yeah.
It suits you.
Thank you, darling. I can't find my goals. Where would I find those?
Ah, they would have been. I normally email them back when they get sent to me, but I think if I push too many buttons now, I might lose everyone.
That's okay. I can have a look. I've sort of looked on my email, but nothing come up.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll have a quick look.
find it.
Uh, uh, yeah, you know me, they're probably in the house and I'm in the studio.
That's
So
okay. I can sort of roughly remember some of them.
my summary of your goals will be in the green manual, which is, yeah. How's everyone else going? Everyone been playing with anything NLP wise? Any practicing? Haley, I've got a quick summary of your goals here. Create empowering kinesiology business, back myself, trust in my higher power, fearlessly do what I love.
That
Does that
sounds
sound
about
like
right.
you?
Yeah. Thanks.
Nicole, what time is it where you are?
It is 10:30 in the morning. I just had
Oh, nice.
breakfast.
Do you want to tell everyone where you are? Show and tell.
Where are you?
Show and tell. I'm in Germany in a place called Garching, which is just outside of Munich. And it's a bit overcast, but it's kind of humid. So it's all great. Like it's just all, everything's green. It's beautiful.
Nice, nice. So the internet's obviously working.
Yep. Internet's working, which is good. I just had a panic station for this morning because the Wi-Fi cut out, but I'm back on. So if I disappear, that's where I've gone.
Oh, well, it's good to see you, and it's good that it's only 10:30 and not 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. Anyone else want to, how's your week been? Anyone got any questions or anything they want to share? Hey, Lucy. Hey, Lily.
Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, no, you're not late. We're all just chatting. Yeah, I was just asking, is there anyone got any questions or updates? Karen's coming in. My hard-hitting question is, what's life teaching you at the moment?
I have a great one.
Lucy.
I actually have a great one. Was it a rhetorical question?
No. Like, that's my go-to question when there's silence in the room.
Okay, this might be really obvious, but for some reason it really landed for me today, and my day has been amazing. It sounds so silly, but it's really profound. So just like let it sink. Well, it was profound for me. We make decisions every day. Yeah. Every minute of every day. So I woke up this morning for some reason asking myself the question, like, what do you decide for yourself today? And I've ended up having, I reckon, one of the best days I've had in years. And it's not like I did anything particularly. Every decision I did was for myself, which is really rare. We often walk through life deciding out of fear or deciding out of, for someone else. But today I made every decision for me. Like even down to like, I shaved my legs in the shower. I know that's like petty, but it's just like little things like that every decision was there for me. And it's left me feeling really empowered, really grateful, really inspired. And yeah, I guess like it made me realize you're one decision away from anything, I don't know, like, yeah.
Yeah,
Obvious,
I'm glad I asked.
it
I'm glad I
landed
made
in
this.
some different way.
Glad I decided to ask the question, and I'm glad that you decided to speak up. Decisions are an interesting one. There's some fabulous TED Talks on decision making, because the decisions that you make come back to your values. So the things that are the most important to you, even down to like shaving your legs or not, the cup of tea or the tea or not, will all come back to your values, and how much your values are, exactly what Lucy said, towards helping and assisting and making it about, people pleasing, making it about others, versus your value to put yourself first, fill your cup up, and then to shine the light and radiate for those that you serve. So yeah, keep experimenting with that, Lucy. It's fabulous. Be interesting to do a values elicitation with you to see which value is driving you. Cool. Anyone else want to share or any ahas?
Lucy, my yoga theme this morning, I taught a class and it was deciding who you want to be today. So it was the same thing. It was like, what energy do you want to cultivate? And you have the choice to decide how you move through the day. So I'm with you.
Oh, yay. Well, let's carry that theme over throughout tonight with the goals that we're going to go through together. So before we go into tonight's content, I want to cover next week's content, because it's a very busy, interesting, it's absolutely one of the most fascinating nights to facilitate, and that's all happening next week. It's where we start to prepare you to know how to shift a belief. When you think about the idea on how do you know when a belief has changed, does anyone have any ideas or any convincing strategies there when they know a belief has changed?
And there's behavior change.
Yep, there's the behavior.
Your values?
Yeah, start to notice the difference in the values. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one big belief to change the values. That's good.
Mm.
Anyone else got any ideas about how you know when a belief has been changed?
Potentially like your inner dialogue is different.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, Rachel. And then that's where everybody else's suggestions, so the inner dialogue changes, and therefore the actions and the behavior changes, and therefore your values change. So absolutely, but it can be quite subtle. So when it comes to NLP, what we do with NLP Practitioner is give you a full experience of what's called a submodality belief change, so that you as the practitioner, you as the coach, have absolute certainty that shifting beliefs work because you've had this experience. And so next week is all about shifting beliefs around food. It's a weird one. It's a wonderful interesting evening. And so if you think about the foods that you like, essentially some of these are actually beliefs that, I believe that I like a cup of tea at 2 p.m. There tend to be beliefs. And with the submodality work, we can actually shift that. So your beautiful cup of tea in the afternoon is one of the most revolting experiences that you can imagine. So you can see why next week is, yay, like to dislike. I'll share a quick story, because I had in the last group, I had my Reiki master. She's cliche Reiki master, right? Very gentle, humble. She's been doing it. She's in her 60s. She's been doing it pretty much all her life. And then we get up to like to dislike, and I'm like, yeah, so we're going to change your beliefs so that you're absolutely revolted by something. And to see someone who's usually so humble kind of having this response, it was like, oh, quite funny. So before I go too far ahead, is there any questions about what I've just said? Is anyone going to be off next week and not showing up now?
No, I was thinking I'm
What was that?
I'm glad it's not that's one I'm gonna miss, because I'll be in France, and I don't want you changing my belief that a pan of chocolate every day is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, this one is really essential. Once you've got the stepping stones for changing like to dislike, it means that the belief change is effortless. So as weird and wonderful as this particular process is, it makes a big difference to the confidence shifting beliefs. So Nicole, you'll have to watch the replay of all of us, and you'll have to do the process. But I've got some slides as I do. And so very quick examples here. What we do is we take an idea of a food such as chips. We get the way that your mind stores and codes the information about chips and how you uniquely like chips or not, could be anything really. And then what we do is we get the way that your mind stores something with a similar quality. In this one, I've got maggots or something. I don't really need to know what they are. And we get your mind to actually start to take on the sensory experience that chips are now like a bowl of maggots. This is what I'm talking about. It's a great night after dinner. The other one with that I did is I turned dim sims into snails. I have not been able to touch a dim sim what feels like 10 years since doing that particular process. Now, people might like salami or whatever meat that is, but this person did not. She wanted to change Savoys to like rotting, moldy meat. You can change chocolate to dog poo. You can change, if you want to go for corn chips, you could change it to dried insects. But what I need from everybody is to think about a food or a drink that you have that you don't want to use willpower to avoid anymore. It can't be sugar, because sugar's in everything, and sugar's in chocolate cake and sugar's in tomato soup. So we need something that you've got a picture for, that's already how you would put it in your mouth. And then what we also need to have is something that is same but different in the qualities. So I've had people in the past do things, and she was a nurse, so this was a big deal to her. Her gin and tonic, she changed to Old Nanawee. We've had people change Boston bun. Their go-to was like moldy bread. Not too much, but she still can't eat Boston bun. I've had people change sausages to fried rats. It's a fun night. Any questions?
I have a question.
What's waiting for it?
Well, because originally I was like chocolate, but then what, will I never be able to eat chocolate again?
You can, the power of the mind is incredibly powerful. So if you can make the switch on,
You can make
you
a
can
switch
also
off.
make the switch off. Yeah. I
Okay.
did one of my groups I taught, we got up to this like a week before Easter, and she was like, ooh, Easter eggs, chocolate. She was determined to prove that this didn't work. Well, it did work. But then she needed someone to undo it so she could actually enjoy Easter with her grandkids. You can use this with drinks. I've had clients who are now coaches who work with food allergies. So I've had somebody who works with cheese, somebody who wanted to get rid of cheese or had allergies to cheese. And that's her business, is like to get people to dislike cheese so that they don't have to have the willpower to get rid of food allergy. Any questions?
So to switch it back, is it just the reverse process, dislike to like? Okay, because my mum was bringing this up about when I was talking about parts integration. She was like, part of me wants to give up wine and chocolate and this stuff, but part of me doesn't. So I was like wondering about that, but maybe this process will be better if she decides she wants to do that.
Yeah, well, I would do parts integration and then do this process so she's congruent that she really does want to get rid of it.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Usually I have a ton of questions. You guys are like, we'll see it, believe it when we see it.
Processing.
Lilo's nodding. What was that, Elise?
So I'm processing.
Yeah. Well, the way that you represent your beliefs around the foods that you like is no different to your beliefs about your confidence, your beliefs about your empowerment. The same way that you store that is the same way that we would change the food, the like to dislike. And that's where it's a bit of a badge of honor for any NLP practitioner. My husband did this 20 years ago and we still are not allowed to bring twisties into the house, good old twisties. And no, of course I could undo that in a heartbeat, but just a bit of fun. Has anyone got any issues like, no, Claire, you can't get rid of any of my food? I'm stubborn. I like all food.
I think I have that issue.
Waiting for it.
I'm sitting here going, I don't want to give up anything. Even if I know I shouldn't have it.
Yeah. Does it give you confidence that you can switch it back though?
Yeah. Yeah, when you said that, I felt a bit better. Because I really know I shouldn't have coffee. But
Don't go for big deal coffee. Maybe just go for like sultanas or pistachio nuts, or do you know what I mean?
yeah. But it'd be good to try it on something like coffee, because then it would really test it, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Has anyone got like that instant, like, Claire, I know exactly what I'm going to dislike?
No, but it was interesting that you just said that thing before about how it kind of relates to other things. Because once you said that, I'm like, yes, I want to get rid of coffee. And then I thought, oh, but do I really? Because sometimes I really want to have the coffee. And then when you said that, I'm like, no, that plays up in other areas of my life too. Like I want to believe this, but I also need it for something else.
Yeah.
That makes you think about stuff.
And again, that's why you go for like the dim sims or the twisties or the nonsensical stuff that you have once. Like for me, Doritos, I have them like once a year because I just absolutely have to have them, and then 30 minutes later regret it. And like, I've got the process. Like, just stop wanting to have them. Do you know what I mean? Like KFC, I think Rick did his on KFC. Yep. Ray, do you know what you're going to get rid of? You're the demo. You're regretting that now?
No, I'm not regretting it. I was thinking coffee as well because it's just no good for me, and I hate that I'm addicted to it. And I mean, I'm only having it. Well, I'm barely even having it in the morning now. I really want to get rid of it completely, but I'm going to go with chocolate because I shouldn't have dairy, and I don't, except for freaking chocolate. I can't.
Oh,
So I don't have cheese or milk or anything else, but that freaking chocolate, it's there, it's in the freezer, and I have a bit every day. And my stomach doesn't like it, but so I'm going to do that. I'm going to go with chocolate. I want it gone.
is there a particular specific type of chocolate?
Twirl.
Oh,
Twirl.
are you gonna be bitter with me, like when you have the withdrawals? No, I'm teasing.
I'll be right. Because I will reap the rewards. Like my tummy's going to be so happy with me. So that's why I think yeah.
Yeah, cool,
I'm going to
cool.
go for that.
All right. Well, we'll work on that next week. Between now and then, we need to kind of think about the item that's similar that you would like to dislike. You could go for gross dog poo. You can go for cardboard. You can go for anything that sort of represents that food. It could be if you didn't like sausages or a type of anything sort of brown. So have a think about that. I
Okay.
do know, and some NLP trainers will teach this process to say it doesn't have to have the same quality. Someone did chocolate and then mushy peas or something. It will still work, but if this is the very first time you're experiencing it, I want to set you up for success before you go and experiment with mushy peas and things. I want you to come away with the confidence that you can shift the belief. So, yeah.
Okay.
All got that covered?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can it be like specific thing? Like say, for example, if I just say fried chicken, so it will be only fried chicken and I can eat all other types of chicken?
Oh, you're playing. Yeah, you can. You could do that. So with Ray, we can get rid of the 12 chocolate and then test her with the dark chocolate later, or white chocolate. I did last group I did the demo on hoppy beer. And his mate took him out for drinks on me, and bought him a hoppy beer. And he said, not only could I not drink hoppy beer, I couldn't drink any beer. Like, what have you done to me, Claire? So I can undo it, but he didn't want to. So you're playing with things there, Manny.
Okay.
You're right there, Elise. Like,
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, I don't know what I want to give up. It's too hard.
something trivial. Cool. Well, you guys can all if you want to swap it back, you guys can all practice and undo all the good work. Have you done this, Karen, with your coaching before?
No, not this sort of thing. No.
Well, here we are in the NLP world. Cool, cool. All right, so we're going to pivot now and go to the grow model. And we get rid of that picture. Okay, so if you've got your training goals in mind anywhere near you, this is going to be a little bit of a multitasking kind of night. I am going to take Sarah through the grow model, mostly because looking at how the process works, where the group is at, looking at a variety of different things. So we're going to go through this with Sarah and her business goals. In the past, people have, again, multitask. They've listened to how they would answer and sometimes throughout the training, I will say, okay, group, what do you think? What would be different? What would you do different? However, this particular coach rarely asks or offers any advice. It's not my type of coaching, but to teach you the grow model specifically, the coach's job is to utilize questions to get the best out of the client rather than projecting their ideas. But tonight, being a training scenario, I'm going to get you to learn how you would ask the questions and also learn about how each other answers the questions. So it's a lot multitasking tonight. Question is, when it comes back to your goals, if you had that magic wand and could have absolutely anything that you desired, what is it that you would want? Would you want more energy, more money, more clients, more time, more travel, more clarity, better quality relationships? The GROW model is something that can help someone move towards anything that they want. There's been a lot of studies on success, and the number one thing that successful people all have in common is their ability to absolutely know what they want. They put a plan in place, and they definitely take action. Some people, is anyone, hands up if you're familiar with SMART goals? Yeah, a few people in the room. So SMART goals is something that the NLP world adopt as well. So SMART goals is think about your goal, make it specific, make it measurable, make it attainable, make it relevant, and make it time bound. So what do you want to accomplish? How will you know when you have it? Is it challenging but not impossible? Is this goal worth the effort? And the time bound to be able to keep yourself accountable. When do you want it by? So at the moment, I'm working with clients to resolve some of their money limitations. And I've asked them specifically what sum of money do they want, by when. We've checked in with their energy. We've checked in, is it challenging enough? Yeah, what will show up when they have that money? So you can use the SMART goals for pretty much anything. But yeah, I think that's in the manual as well. Okay, page 188 if you want to read through the goals while I go through them with Sarah. This particular questionnaire will take about 45 to 60 minutes. You'll start to get the idea of these questions, and you'll find towards the end, I might go a lot quicker towards the end, Sarah, especially letting you know, Sarah, it's a teaching moment as well as a coaching moment. But yeah, it should take about 45 minutes or 60 minutes, because then the rest of the night we're going to switch topics and go into anchors. So the questionnaire should take about 45-ish minutes. In a coaching session, it would take me about 90 minutes to 2 hours. It's ideal for long-term goals, about 3 to 9 months. And it identifies, where are you currently? Oh, that's not supposed to make noise. I don't know if you can hear that. What do you want? What's stopping you? And what's the way forward? Now, this is pretty important for everybody when you're moving into that coaching space. When you ask any coaching question, you listen out for how long it takes the client to answer, because we're definitely interested in how they respond. And then the secondary focus is the answer. So do they take their time and they're thoughtful about the answer? Do you hear their throat close over and they have to clear their throat and their body's like restricting? Are they reactive? Have you pushed some buttons? So it's a lot of the non-verbals when it comes to coaching. Yeah, so just a hint, this is what I do, is to turn off the part of your mind that's going to project the meaning to it. You want to be curious, you want to be a bit of a detective and lean into seeking clarity. So when the client gives you their answer, sounds like, feels like, or that seems, we're hearing the rep system there. But if they answer, the thing that I want, it feels like this, and you're going to respond back, it feels like this, did I hear it right? For anyone who's curious, who works in this way, but we don't have any strong AD people in the room, this particular questionnaire is inductive. So they know clicking blue tack, they know what they want. And then the answers could be anywhere outside of the specifics. As I said at the beginning, this particular questionnaire, this one specifically, is designed for the client to get it. Advice is not offered. We're going to do that tonight, though. I've already said here, gives you the action. So it's going to help when you facilitate the GROW model with anyone. it will give them the action list. Can we all relate to like feeling stuck, knowing what they want, what you want in your business, but like, oh, what do I do? Where's the priority for my energy? It'll seek out real time frames. It will remove the client from being at effect side of the equation. So those people who drive me bananas, they come to coaching and they say, I just want to win the lotto. It's like you've put yourself completely at effect, because there's not, except for buying the ticket, there's not very much more you can do. I know you can do visualization, but you're at the effect rather than being at cause to go and create the money, go and do things to manifest the money. Anyway, so it's different. You want to make sure that the client within their business goals is at cause, and it will dial up the enthusiasm, the commitment, all these good things, right? Oops, ignore that one. Oh, okay. So this is where I turn off the slides. Before we dive into it, Sarah, do you have any questions?
No, I don't know what to expect. I'm nervous. So just hope that I do well. That's
Yeah,
all.
absolutely.
And learn. I just want to learn. So yeah.
Yeah, yep, fair call. Does anyone else have any questions before we get started with Sarah?
Claire, so this is with someone who knows what they want but can't get there.
Hold on 1 second. So is there an example that you're thinking about, Elise?
Like for people who are feeling lost but they don't know which direction they want to go in, this model would or wouldn't be helpful.
I would do timeline, which we haven't got to yet. I would do timeline on the lostness before I would get to this one. So this particular process is for when people have a good idea about what they want, but then that's as far as they can take it. So it's usually like the big picture of what they want.
Cool, thank you.
It's a good question, because this would be the second process that we're up to, and there's so many more coming. So yeah. Alrighty. Is there any other questions from anyone?
Claire, I'm just going to shoot off to the toilet 2 seconds. I'll be back. Sorry.
Rachel, did I see your hand go up?
Yeah, I'm wondering how like tangible the goal has to be. Is it like, yeah, I know I want this new job, or is it like I want to feel more confident?
No, it is. This is a really good questionnaire for people who are starting out in their business. This is where I said last week that people in the corporate coaching would charge a lot of money for where they're going, where people are going to take their business next, or if there's a new partnership, two people coming together wanting to do a podcast. This would be a really good questionnaire to work out where they're both moving towards. So there's an idea in mind, and then it's like, okay, what's the path moving forward?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Thanks.
So, bringing the attention to you. Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
So I'm curious about knowing a little bit more about your business, Sarah, and the direction and things. Like, basically, what is it that we're talking about today?
Okay, so my business is it's called Sarah Jane Mind, Body and Soul. So I want to establish a complete umbrella of wellness, and that's where I want to work towards.
So just because I know your mediumship skills, that's a piece of it, but it's not the full
Correct.
thing.
Yes. So obviously, I'm a Reiki. I do Reiki practitioner. I do mediumship, meditation classes. So I just want to be able to move forward in how I put it all together, and also learning this obviously modality now with the NLP as well, obviously to incorporate all into it. So that's why I want to become this umbrella of wellness.
Yeah, okay. I'm curious, from a show of hands with everybody, who else is in that space of working in that wellness space? Yeah. Cool. And so, Sarah, When you get in touch with that wellness business, or you said the mind, body, and soul,
Yep.
or no, the wellness business within that mind, body, and soul, where are you up to when it comes to creating that business?
So at the moment, I've got obviously my name, I've got a Facebook page, I've got Instagram, and obviously word of mouth and friends. And that's about as far as I've gone.
Yep. And if somebody was going to pay for your service, what would they receive?
So they would receive, at the moment, I just offer the Reiki, mediumship. So depending on like what they wanted, if it was a combined one or separate, then obviously I would just go from there. And I find it really hard to like know what to charge as well, and to know how to separate the both in charges, and yeah, and time too, how much time, that's a big thing as well, because yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a few things. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're definitely stepped your toe in the water.
Oh,
Is there,
100%. Yeah.
yeah. How long have you been doing it for?
So, oh gosh, let's think. I was started probably like 3 years since I've started developing, and probably the last 2 years I've done a few things. Like I've done events, we've done lunches. Yeah, so I've done like meditation classes at like a community center. So yeah. So I'd say
Oh,
probably
good.
probably the last 12 months though, like as I've grown and got more confident, that I'm doing obviously more, and like I've been running some development classes as well. So
When you think about the variety of different things that you offer, which I'm curious, which one is the number one that really lights your heart?
the mediumship.
And which one do you notice people are asking for more? Like, which one's the most popular?
Look, at this moment, it's probably the mediumship, because I haven't kind of put it out there too much that I do Reiki as well. So it's obviously having that confidence to put myself out there and say, oh, well, I kind of do this now as well. So yeah.
Is there a reason then you wouldn't offer just straight mediumship?
I just a bit of confidence. I'm good. Like when I go out, it's just the weirdest thing. So when I go and do events, it does not bother me. I can be in a room full of people, no problem. But and I know spirit will never let me down, because it's a known fact, and the trust. But I think when I've got that one-on-one, it's a little bit different. And I think it's just that little leap of faith, maybe just fear of not doing it.
Yeah. So then I'm curious. I genuinely curious about if if that nervousness wasn't there, what difference would that make to your idea moving forward?
I think it would make all the difference, because then I would just be, you know what, I can do this. I know I can do it. I just got to get past that little bit. And I think as well, because I haven't got the right setup, I think that's what's making me a bit sort of like nervous and fear. Do you know what I mean? It's having that one-on-one with person. It's the safety comes back to, um, you know, I think that holds me back a little bit too. And having the right space set up and location.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I'm going to hand it over to Lilo. What question would you ask her right now? Well, her, Sarah, I should have said.
That's all right.
Me, sorry.
Yeah.
Can we repeat that? Sorry.
I was saying, what would you ask? What other information do we need before we can move on? Like, what else would you ask her?
Well, I was just thinking the same question, that ask if the problem wasn't there, how much of a difference that would make. Because that to me was the big question. Yeah.
Elise, what would you ask right now? What more info do you want as the coach?
I guess I would want to help in terms of that practicality too. Like, what do you see? Yeah, how do you see that playing out, or trying to get that barrier, help break that barrier?
Yeah.
Mm.
Feel free to phrase it. Feel free to ask Sarah.
Okay, how would I phrase it? I guess when you're thinking about your offering in your business, Sarah, how do you see that playing out in terms of your appointments? I guess maybe would that be?
Yeah,
We can
that's
start with that.
okay. Yeah. I would probably try and maybe do more appointments, so they kind of maybe back to back as well. So then you've got that continuation as well. So you kind of not singly out, if that makes sense.
Singling out? No, I need clarity.
As in, so it's kind of just one kind comes and goes, and then that's it for your day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Shell, is there any questions that you would ask or any info you need before we go forward? You're on mute, Shell.
Sorry, I'm just kind of observing here. I have no questions at the moment.
Yeah. When you think about stepping into that coach's role, and we're hearing about the business and the idea of what Sarah wants to create, have you got everything that you need to then move forward?
You also mentioned something about, you mentioned about prices already, didn't you, Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got like how that would look for you in terms of setting up appointment types, how that would look for you in terms of what to charge. Did we ask her a question around like environment? Like, does that look like, is that like online? Is that in person? Is it in a clinic space?
Yep.
Questions.
So that's where I'm a bit stuck too, is I don't have the right location, my setup. That's a big part of doing.
Yeah.
What does that look like for you?
Well, ideally, I would like my husband to build me a studio. That's what I keep asking him. So I've told him he's got a few months to do it. We've got plenty of space.
So like a home space then?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Shell. So then, Sarah, with everything that's been brought to the surface so far, what's that number one issue that you would like to work on today?
I think just having the there's lots of things. Just having the just moving forward. What can I? It's just all about. It's quite a lot actually, because it oh God, it's like ticking over. I just need the place, the procedure, the structure. I'm very organized, and I'm finding this hard as well because I feel I'm not organized in this sense too. And now maybe that's a bigger part of me as well, because I am very organized.
Yeah, okay. So then if we were to say it in one sentence, it's today's about identifying the organization, the structure.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Claire should not have inputted then, but we'll pretend like you didn't
I
hear me
think I
say
would
that.
get into the structure because I really do like the structure. I know, like, I'm always on time. I always want to know what I'm doing. So it's kind of, yeah, very much is the structure.
Yeah, okay. So then following from the GROW model here, what would you like to achieve in this session? So the question states, as an example, I want to feel more aligned with my intuition so that I can confidently move forward. Like, what is it that you want to achieve from this session?
I would like to achieve, like, potential steps to move forward, to have some tools that I can use to have those steps in a structure.
Perfect. And so if you think about this issue in your mind's eye, so there's this, you know, while spirit works with you magnificently within mediumship and everything that you deliver, there's a lack here. So if we were to move forward in your mind's eye to a time when things are exactly how you want it to be, and you can definitely get the team to start talking to you, what stands out to you?
Just having the belief that this is all going to happen, it's all come together, and having the success and having the space, it will be created. I will have my structure.
Okay. Before I get the group involved, just tell me, what do you see in that when you travel in your mind's eye to a time in the future when you've got exactly what you want? What shows you that you've solved this issue and the lack of structure?
Because I can see my studio.
Anything else?
Just lots, just happiness and just being able to help people and myself, because this is all learning for me too, and I believe this is a big growth for me. And NLP has opened my eyes to a lot of things in how I think, body languages, intuition. Like, it's just opened up a whole new level of understanding, and I'm really, really like embracing it. And I've just, yeah, it's kind of me.
Yeah. So I'm curious, Erin, if you were going to answer that question, you know, even stepping into your own business ideas, what would show you that you've solved the lack of structure? What shows up for you, Erin?
So for me personally, I think having people being able to book in, and that effortless seeing people booking, payment structure just really easy. And then having time freedom around that. So like I like to treat and be back to back, but then having freedom outside of that.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's good.
Karen, would you add anything to that list?
No, I think it's also just about, for me, it'd be your sole purpose as to why you're doing what you're doing, and what you want that to be on the other side. So at the end, how can you see it that you've reached that goal?
Well, Karen, when you think about like what's showing up in the structure side of things, in the material side of things, what are some ways that you would want, what structural things would you want in your business?
I think for me, it would be important to have commitment, and I've just seen it done in different ways. So it just makes me think, you know, do you take part payment up front and then payment on, you know, part payment as the booking's made and final payment at the end of the appointment? Or I would want commitment from people, I think, in the process.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Courtney, is there anything that you would add to the structure that you would have in a business that's starting up?
For me, I think I'm someone who's very much like, I can't have all different start times. Like, I can't start at 3 o'clock one day. I can't start at 9 o'clock the other day. I really struggle, especially like being self-employed when days are like that. So something that I did when I started out was like, okay, how do I want to work? What do I want my hours to be? And even if I didn't have clients, those hours were my work hours. So they were my dedicated hours that, okay, maybe I don't have clients, but I'm going to work on my business in these hours. So it was still like I had structure in my work, but not necessarily had clients. And I felt like that helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good advice. Oh, we're
Anyone
not giving
else?
advice, sorry.
Oh no, you go, Sarah. Your spotlight's
Oh
on you.
no, I just really like that as well. And it's just having the balance, I think, which is very important. And just being able to say no as well, which is what I find hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, I was about to say you need to take on Lucy's decision-making strategy. And
Yeah.
when it comes to the structure, it has to work for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely has to work for you. And then when the word of mouth gets out there and people see that there's one spot left on a Wednesday, they move their stuff to book in with you, Sarah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else want to add to the structure?
Well, for me, I would probably, I will have 15 minutes between each client, so that I can regather and clear and all that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so has anyone else got any ideas there with the structure?
Sorry.
All good. So Sarah, when you think about what you're currently doing, what's showing you, that you have achieved your goals?
Just, I don't know, just making people obviously are happy. They leave in happy. They leave in, when I've done Reiki sessions, we have a discussion, and yeah, generally, we talk about things. What's the question again? Can you just say?
Yeah, so what are you doing that shows you that you have achieved your goal?
I think I just listen as well more.
Yeah.
Because I tend to get very excited when things are good and I talk fast. So I've learned a little bit as well to take a bit of a step back and listen as well before I speak.
So then I'm curious, because we had that little bit of a break with people's contributions, I want you to go back to a moment where you see yourself in the future, where you've already solved that problem. The structure is in place, everything is working. There's that sensation of being organized, in control, it's working for you. In that vision, what are you doing that shows you that you've achieved that goal, that the structure's in place? What are you doing?
What am I doing? Like, things have changed. I've now got, obviously, the commitment, the clients, the balance, the option to say no, the freedom, like obviously the satisfaction of helping people, the successfulness, the obviously my language has changed, rapport, like it's a bit of a self-reflection too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so people are showing up, they're paying, there's that sense of freedom, the satisfaction, helping people. You also have the option to say no. How does that version of Sarah seem to you?
Amazing. Yes. Bring it on.
Then what are other people doing or saying that tells you you've succeeded in that structure?
I think people want to say the right things. do they mean the right things though? It's two different things.
Oh, it's a whole different coaching session.
Yeah. Obviously the support of my family is awesome. They fully support me. I have different circle of people. I don't also think the people understand either what I actually do. And because of the mediumship, obviously you've got the skeptics and I kind of, you've got that side of it as well. So yeah. And I think when I talk to people and have conversations, I know how much to reveal and how much not to. It's like intuition. So it depends on that person who I am discussing with. If it's like-minded people, then it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you just took a sip of water there, Nicole, but Nicole, what would you answer for your own business? What are other people doing or saying that tells you you've succeeded in having structure?
Yeah, as soon as you said that, my mind went to my mum gives me recognition.
Your mum, yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing I think for me would be like clients rebooking
Yes.
without
This
the
is
polite,
yeah.
at the end of the session saying, oh, can I book in my next appointment? Or getting referrals, I think for me would be a big sign.
Yep. How does that sound to you, Sarah?
Yeah, that's really good. I think as well, it's kind of a different thing, isn't it? Like your mediumship, obviously, they will not rebook, or they will do your word of mouth, or they may rebook, but further down the track. Do you know what I mean? Whereas your Reiki clients, yes, I do have a few Reiki clients now that rebook when they leave. So yes.
Yeah. My personal perspective of going out of trainer's mode and doing the mediumship that I used to do, 100%, yes, people will rebook, and then people will say, can you teach me how to access spirits? How do I book in for that? Can I have one-on-one?
I have had a lot of people like say to me, if you do your circle, I'm coming. If you do this, I'm coming, so there is commitment there. I've just got to find the structure and the space.
And I would say that people would pay one-on-one for the mentorship and the coaching on how they do mediumship. Don't just assume they want a circle.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, well, actually, Ray did say last week, why aren't you doing one-on-one?
Okay, what else would you add to this? What are people saying or doing that tells you you've succeeded with structure?
Was that to me?
No,
Oh,
that
Ray.
was Ray.
Right. Sorry.
For me, it was, I would say, more like word of mouth. What you're doing, it wouldn't, for me, it'd be great if I didn't even have to advertise. Do you know what I mean? If it was just like my Reiki teacher, she's nowhere on social media. She's got nothing. She just is word of mouth. So that I would love to do that because I'm a bit more, quiet. So that would be amazing.
I think that's good, yeah, because I'm a bit like that as well. I kind of don't like putting myself out there. I'm not a big social thing. I don't know how to, I didn't even know how to write my bio. Do you know what I mean? It's really difficult to put yourself out there. So yeah.
Same.
Word of mouth would be, yeah.
It is doable. I didn't have my website till 2020. It was like COVID happened. I'm bored. I may as well do it. But I had a wait list of clients worldwide. You can definitely have a very, very strong business without doing social media. But the other side of things, though, Sarah, we're going off track, is if you actually want to challenge yourself to put yourself out there to face your fears, then that's what Instagram is the tool for.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I actually use my Instagram to have conversations with my daughters. Yeah, Mum, you put that weird thing up on, Instagram. What does that mean? Oh, well, that's interesting. Because when I spoke about it at breakfast, you didn't care, but now your friends are talking about it. So that's where social media does not have to be a belief that that's what gets you clients.
Yeah.
Use it how you want to.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gone off track. So Sarah, when you think about those rebookings, the one-on-ones, we've got the structure, people are paying. How do you feel about that?
Awesome. Amazing. Because that's what I want.
Yeah. Where do you feel that in the body?
Oh, in my heart, because it's me. I just want to, and I just love giving that bit of joy and just something to that person that just needs a little thing. Could just be one word, and I just love doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when do you want to be in this position?
I would like to be in this position after the summer, which would probably be March-ish time, because I have kind of a big busy first start of the year, but so
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most exciting, how exciting is it to achieve that particular goal?
oh, 10.
How will you know that you've achieved your goal, Sarah?
Once it's all in place and it's all set up, once I get that diary full, once I get everybody and it all comes together.
Okay, so as coaches, if you're working with people with goals, in the NLP world, we would say, can you put it in a wheelbarrow? It's ridiculous. But anytime a client, when you're working with a client moving towards their goals, you want to make sure that not only they can measure it, but you can measure it. Not because you're going to look, but that's the measure that makes it, that gives them something tangible to move towards. So as Sarah had said, I've got a book full of, a diary full of clients. I can see that. Anytime somebody puts on their goals that they want to go with the flow, you know, to be in that state, I want to be happy. It's like, you know, go watch a go watch a movie and you're happy. The goal's done. Now what do you want? Anyone who says, you know, I want to go with the flow, be in the flow, is like, go jump in a river. You're now in the flow. Now what do you want? So you want to make sure that people's goals are very tangible. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Yeah.
How specific do we want to get? So is that enough, or do we need to get to, I've got 27 clients a week, or yeah, is diary full enough?
Oh no, no. If we were doing one-on-one coaching, there would be a list. 110% there'd be a list. And with my style of coaching, I always ask clients to drink. We may not get it done in the months that we're working together, but I want to know what are the really big specific goals that you want. I had, as an example, I had a client who said, I want to have a particular property on the beach. Da, 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 da. She had it all outlined. And so we were able to work through the limitations on why she didn't have that. And she actually had a fear of things corroding out from underneath her. So at no point could she actually create the business. At no point could she create the next thing or the next thing, because this fear that wouldn't show up at a little bit because it didn't matter as much. But the big thing, it showed the goal, it showed. So yeah, we did some coaching on yeah, how her goals get corroded out from underneath her. And she now she now works yeah, overseas, really, really, really big, really big working with multi-millionaires over there. So anyway, so that particular coaching definitely worked. So coming back to you, Sarah, I want to drill down and want to get the group's contribution here. How will you know that you have achieved this goal? Tell me what the feelings are, the sensations, the specifics, the material. How will you know when you've achieved this goal that's in your heart, that is so important?
Okay, so obviously to have the location, my space set up, to have the clients, to have the for me personally, to have the right have the right words, to have the rapport, to have the language, to obviously help people, and then just to have like positive outcomes, which then would be the rebooking, and obviously having the financial stuff then, because obviously financials do come into it, so then more financials will allow me maybe to branch out and to become a little bit bigger.
Yep, perfect. Is there somebody in this group who absolutely knows what they want in their business? May not have happened yet, exactly what they want. Ooh. Okay.
As in like direct, like specifics, or like just generally?
Erin, when you get in touch with that goal that absolutely lights you up thinking about your business, tell me, how will you know how will you know you've achieved your goal within that business? What is it? What's the measure? What shows up for you?
So slightly different, but I think like the clients that I currently have, seeing them succeed, but then seeing like so I want to work with allied health businesses in general, but seeing their businesses succeed.
More?
Pardon?
Tell me more.
So for them, it would be all their practitioners with full diaries, and generally just people getting help with their health.
And then what's in it for you?
Obviously financial reward, but then that time freedom and that just, I don't know, that purpose being fulfilled.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. Oh, like general time freedom as well, but
Yep. Yeah, time freedom you said there, the financial reward. How would I know that you've created that?
I think for me it would be getting that like word of mouth. So I already have that as a myo, but then having that in this coaching space as well. So being busy.
How would I know that?
Oh, so you wouldn't be able to book for like weeks in advance.
Awesome. Best answer. Hope you're all taking that on on your list, yeah. Is there anything else there, Erin, that would show me that you've got that time freedom?
I think seeing me do the things that I genuinely enjoy away from work.
Yeah.
So fit and healthy, having time to spend with my family and friends, stuff like that.
Yeah. So for you, if we were working together in that scenario, then you would show me that you've booked the holiday or that there's photos of you and your friends having the time of your life. That would be the tangible things.
Yeah, even just like the petty little things like getting to Pilates 3 times a week, like even those smaller things as well.
Huge. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Just having a quick look at the list. Feels like there's something there that I want to push on that without going too far. Okay. How would I know, Erin, that you've got that sense of fulfillment?
I think that I want to say that excitement and that passion when new clients come in, or just clients in general.
Yep. You know,
It doesn't feel mundane.
Do you know other people that have fulfillment in business?
Not off the top of my head.
And if you did know, would you understand their secret on how they have fulfillment in their business?
I want to say that they'd just be like relaxed.
Okay. Manny, where did your mind go when I asked that question? You're on mute, Manny.
Yeah, I was thinking about my friends who have businesses and imagining what they feel like when they're fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was imagining like it was my partner's boss. He had multiple businesses and he was always relaxed, like always traveling, relaxed, even though he wasn't working, but he had like passive income coming in every month. So,
Yep.
yeah.
So do you think that then gave him fulfillment?
Think so. Yeah, at least from the social media, I know. I don't know. But
It's an interesting question though, right? When people say I want to be fulfilled in business, like, well, do you know anyone who's fulfilled in business, and therefore do you know what they're doing, their beliefs, the model of their world that gives them that sense of fulfillment, like what's going on there? So so with you, Sarah, coming back to, and we'll soon shortly wrap this up. I'll speed things up and get through some more of these questions. But for you, Sarah, when you've heard everybody else's ideas, what's it done for your energy and your clarity with the structure?
Yeah, just totally given me just like more realization, more thoughts as well. Just to, you know, I'm very passionate, so that is me as well. It's just having the right words. I know it's all in my head. It's just getting there across the people too, because yeah, passion is really big to me. The commitment, the balance, and just helping people. Yeah, is my main goal, is just to help people.
Do you believe that you've got structure within your mediumship?
Oh, probably not. Like I know, and I do. Oh, I think yes, actually, no, I do think I do have structure with my mediumship and how I develop. Definitely, yes. It's just moving it forward to the next. So getting those bookings, getting that.
Oh, no. That's not what I'm asking. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hold on.
Go back.
Ray, have you witnessed Sarah with her structure within her mediumship?
Sorry, I was distracted. Sorry, I was distracted then. I'm really sorry.
No, it's all fine.
Yeah.
The structure.
You have
in
got
Sarah's
structure.
mediumship.
I think if I believe that if you went out on your own, you would 100% have structure. Right now, you're sort of kind of finding your feet and kind of working around others. But I think you would be able to, when you put yourself out there, you will do it. You'll have 100% structure.
When you witness Sarah doing mediumship, do you notice the structure within her readings?
In her, well, yeah, when she if she takes, if Denise says to her, right, Claire, Sarah, you're taking the class, she's always got structure. She always knows what she's going to do.
Do you have structure in your other business, Sarah?
Yes.
When you think about the difference between thank you, Ray. When you think about the difference between the structure in the other business, the structure in this, let's put the readings to the side because I can't get my tongue around it. When you think about the structure with your other business, the conveyancing, and you get an idea about the decisions that you've made to create that, what's different about the mediumship business?
I think, well, it's just having that confidence to go out on my own. I think that's where it comes to, because I know how to do the whole diary thing, the booking, dinner. I know all that, and time, obviously. So I think it's more the fear of just going out and doing it for myself as well.
Yeah, bingo. Can you talk to me very briefly about the fear when it comes to the right words?
In just, it's kind of not letting people down as well. It's just about telling them, giving them. Lots of people come to you on specific things, and you can't always give that, because spirit will give what you need to give. So you can't always have. So I think it's the fear of not being able to give that as well.
Hands up with the group, especially the healers. Who else has worked through or working through the not letting people down?
Yeah.
You're not alone there, Sarah. People will come for coaching and say, help me with my relationship with my husband. And then we have to go look at the relationship with their mum before we can go and get a confidence. It's like, that's not what I asked for, Claire. And I'm like, that's that's where the problem starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not just the spirit world. I'm pretty sure Lilo will have some great stories about watching other people in her industry talk about they've asked for one thing and then they walked away with a whole different thing. I want to know those stories, Lilo.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Does that make a difference, Sarah, when you hear that it's not just the mediumship?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is where that coaching goes into resolving the fear of letting people down. And
Yeah.
again, I'm going way off track. But like when you think about your past, your
Mm.
childhood issues, that's been with you pretty much from day dot.
Yeah, correct. Because I was always that person that people were mean to me, or like there was always that fear of, like I was brought up in a very poor community, and I was looked down at in like school groups. People like, yeah, there's a lot probably to do with all that growing up as well and stuff, and just the fear of not fitting in.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And just people, I'd get invited to things and then people would laugh at me. Like that's very confronting. That's really big to actually admit to you all too, actually. But yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us. I got full body tingles, and I'm pretty sure everyone here can relate to that or some of that. And you can see coaches, as I'm going through the grow model, that the coach is now getting a list of topics that are now for another session. We're going to work through the fear of letting people down, the people pleasing, the fear of judgment. We've got money beliefs coming up. We've got a variety of different issues that needs, and that's where this questionnaire starts off and then builds the to-do list within the sessions. Does that kind of make sense?
And it's just having the choices as well. As younger and growing up, I didn't have the choice to do things. It was, you have to do this. It was this way. There was no choice.
Yeah. So Sarah, this is huge about putting yourself out there and having the choice, and then, oh, am I allowed to do that? It's quite confronting, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then while this questionnaire is not specifically going to resolve some of that fear, what it's highlighting is how important this goal is that's going to pull you forward. I strongly believe that's why the spirit world puts these desires in us, is because they know that that goal is so important. It'll get you to go on social media and face your fears and be that best version of yourself, right? Like,
Yeah.
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 And that's going off track, but that's usually what happens when we are growing up and we look towards our caregivers on how to be in this world and they impose their beliefs. We also have our ego that says, you've got to stay safe, you've got to stay small, if that's your programming. And then you've got your intuition saying, but come on, the gift that you have, the world needs it.
Yeah.
So you've got that battle, the intuition and the ego. One wants to keep you safe, and then the intuition seems crazy, like, get out there and do it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And you're right then, because the structure then gives you the safety in some regards on what to do.
Yeah.
I can tell you that when you resolve the fear of letting people down, it's not that you won't let people down, but the fear isn't start again. When you're in that state of fear, there's a level of resistance, and it's like, do I say this? Do I not?
Yeah.
What's the consequences? And instead, it's like, oh, I'm really mindful. I'm going to say this, and then you got the freedom to say it, and then deal with the consequences. So it doesn't change what you say; it just changes how you say it.
Yeah, correct. And that's where I'm learning, and I feel that's where I'm more at now. I'm more thoughtful, like, of what I'm saying, or yeah, I think that's a really big part where I'm at now.
Yeah. Yeah, to be in the NLP classroom, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll scoot through a few of the next questions just to give people the gist of where this goes.
I have got a cup of tea coming.
That's good. Loosen the throat.
Yeah.
Where do you have control or influence in regarding this goal for structure?
Well, look, I think it's in my total control, isn't it, really? Because I can put things in place to do the structure, like to have the to-do list, to have the vision, the boards. I think, go back to the question, Claire, because I think I'm just waffling a bit.
Where do you have control or influence in regarding structure of your business?
Control. I have control in the words that I want to say, and the patterns as to how it all ties together. Is that probably the steps, as in, but I think the words are the biggest thing.
Lily, would you add to some suggestions here on where Sarah has control with the structure? Lily?
Yeah, I think you definitely would have control with, I guess, the clients that you take on. You would have control with what, like, if you wanted to take on Reiki, mediumship, actually what services you wanted to provide. Is this where we're going? Yeah. What services you want to provide? I think you'd have control is if you wanted to do online, if you wanted to do person, like the way that you structured your business and how you actually saw clients. Because if you wanted to also see people who are overseas, like demographically, because I feel like if you just wanted to do things in your studio, your sort of people have to come to you. So it's really, you want to make your business. So, because it might be, you might have to also look at you might have to let go a bit of the studio thing.
Yes.
For reach, you might have to maybe look at being a bit comfortable doing things a different way. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Because you sort of really restrict yourself there if you're just so focused on that being a success, like a drive for you to be successful. Because even though you might not be comfortable getting on camera, but even doing things like Claire does, where you can do a phone call, it's not just always.
Yeah.
There's always different ways of looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you. You're the right person to ask. Hayley, is there anything that you would add to what Sarah's got control of within the structure?
I suppose like you've got control over your processes, like within your sessions. For some, like, yeah, how you run the session and the processes that you use.
Yeah, thank you. Rachel, would you add anything?
My mind went to logistically, like the systems that you use as well, for, you know, payment and scheduling and all that kind of stuff, and setting it up the way that you want it. And also your communication. So if you're doing any advertising, or, you know, we talked about social media before, or your website or your Facebook, so you can control those things.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad that you mentioned that, like, with the automation and systems and things. How does that sound like for you, Sarah? Doable, confronting?
Yeah, very like doable. And I think I do, like Lily said, maybe I'm too focused on that bigger vision of my studio and the setup, whereas actually, yes. Yeah, so that's really good to do that. Yeah. And just the commitment. So I'm 100% in. I just, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll stick to the rules of the grow model, but technically you can start all of that today. You don't have to tell people about it, but you can, yeah.
Yeah.
Start researching. Okay, what is missing from your reality that you would like to have?
Oh, what's missing from my reality? What's missing from my reality? I think time is a big thing for me, because sometimes I can be like, I'm so busy in work and then I'm running from one thing to another. So that's a big thing for me. And also when I have had clients, I tend to always run over. So that's like, so it's that sense too, you know, so I'll have to work out that balance too. Obviously, there is financial implications too, because I still got to do my full-time day job to pay the bills and all the rest of it, meet those commitments.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's that. I think, you know, I'm the happiest that I've ever been since I've been doing this. So I know I'm definitely on the right track, and where it's just moving across those few things.
Yeah, the priority's got to something there within the priority has to
Yeah.
shift, so there's time for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Sarah. I'm mindful that it's about 5 to 8 and I want to give everybody a break. I'm going to quickly just read through the rest of the questions. And again, it's a shame that we don't have time to go through all of it, but everybody's getting the gist of where this is going and helping the client expand their mind. As the coach, you want to have the questions to be able to get the answers out of them. You know, you may say, oh, what about social media? How do you feel about that? Instead of saying, you know, social media would be great. So anyway, it's just a process. So the next few questions here is about reflecting about what is happening now that is good. What are you doing right that is giving you these results? What have you done to improve so far? What were the results of that improvement? What did the results compare specifically with what you'd hoped for? So the coach is really identifying what's driving and motivating that client towards the thing that they want. Within everybody's help here tonight, we've really identified that while Sarah has wanted the structure, the lack of structure is not actually the problem, but hopefully Sarah's feeling a lot more confident to create that. So then we can work on the stuff underneath with it when it comes to time poor priorities and things. What obstacles are in your way that prevent or hinder you from moving forward? 2021. Think back to your goal for a minute. Even now, Sarah, when you think back to your goal for a minute, is it still relevant?
Yes.
Yep. And goodness me, my copy here stops at 21, but it should go to about 50 something. So I think that's the spirit world giving us a hint there that it's time for a break, as I just spilled water all over me. How's everybody feeling from observing that idea of what a coaching session can look like just with the inquiry? How's people feeling about that?
I feel really invigorated to do this myself, this process. I just want to do this to get that clarity. I think it's been interesting to see, Sarah, your clarity come through. And Claire, I just have a question.
Yeah.
Like the structure and the organization seems to be that like topical issue for Sarah, but then obviously as we move through this, like that peeling of layers and there's like deeper kind of causes.
Yeah.
Do you, knowing that, continue with this grow model, focusing on that structure and what Sarah's brought to the table, or do you start to move in line with where she's taking you?
Yeah. When I'm doing the grow model, I would go right through the process of those questions because it's also going to give more clarity. I'm sorry that I don't have it, but it is what it is. The next few questions start to ask about, do you need to get anybody else involved? If you do, what are the types of questions that you would ask them? How do you feel about getting them involved? So the questionnaire gives you more insights into where their blocks are, like with the fear of speaking up, so to speak. So short answer is yes, I would go through the whole thing, then let them have a break to integrate, reflect, and then come back for the next session to really get in touch with the fear. I would resolve the fear of putting herself first.
Mm-hmm. So you're sort of noting it all down and then taking that to another session.
Yeah, so when somebody signs up for coaching with me, they get a book and I'll be writing down notes. I'll be making a to-do list. I will map it out. I actually spend about a good hour preparing for that very first session. I will spend about an hour preparing from what they've told me that they want to work on, where that could take us.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, cool. Any other questions? Yeah, Connie.
I have a couple. So the first one is, do you find that it's common that when you get to step 21 that people actually change like their whole goal?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, because like Sarah, right now, like you can do that, right? You can go get the structure.
Yeah. Yep.
So now the goal has changed for the coaching.
Yeah.
Let's check, Sarah. What would you want to be working on now that we've packed everything?
Oh gosh. Just having just getting the clients in. Just now I want to just go and get my diary and just start. Yeah.
Yeah, so now we're working on attracting in clients, which goes back to the fear of putting yourself out there.
Yes, yeah.
And then once the fear of putting yourself out there is resolved, then the evenings get booked up with clients and then the money from that starts to outweigh the 9 to 5, and then the 9 to 5 becomes part-time, and then
Correct.
it's like, why am I doing what I hate?
Yeah, that's it. And one of my things that I wrote down is that I would really love to do one first class trip overseas. And that's going to be on my thing. I just only want one. I only want one, but I want one.
You manifest more than one. Asking for more. That's a really, really good question, Courtney. Was there any more on your list?
My only other question was, is this process Like, would you only use this for business stuff?
You could use this like with relationships. I haven't, but you could.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say this is where I would give you free range to give it a go and then make it your own. Yeah, so this is the grow model. Later on, I'm going to show you how I structure a session, which is very different to the grow model, but it's just another tool in your toolkit.
So Claire, it's not really a fully standalone process, right? So if they come in with a goal, well, Sarah's changed, for someone it may not. But when you identify that there's underlying beliefs or things like that that are really going to impact on the outcome of the goal, are you kind of making, how do you, and this will be where I'm the same, the expectation of the client, are they aware that potentially this one session won't get them to achieve that goal because there's other stuff?
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
this with Sarah now, to get this business up and running by March with the confidence and the clients and the financial freedom, yeah, we would need 3 to 6 months of full coaching. Yeah. And that's the difference, right? Is how much is it costing you to stay the same in your business? You know, if she's sick at the moment, how is it what's it costing her to stay the same? What's it costing her to keep dibble dabbling around? Like, she's like, her first class trip's waiting for her to get it. So the money or the investment in coaching is very little compared to the goal.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's where it's yeah, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to a belief change and timeline. You clear that fear that she's got, and whoo, husband better get out of the way. Like,
Claire,
Yeah.
would you ask that question to a prospective client if they, because I feel like I've got lots of people that say they're interested and then I like do struggle converting on the spot. At least people need time to think. So would you use that question, what's the cost of you staying the same, or a version of?
Yeah, yep. I'm very shortly going to change the way that I structure my business, but I had always offered a first-time paid session. Someone will message me, "Hey Claire," and I'm like, "Okay, you can have a one-off session at a reduced rate, and then if you like it, if this works for you," because you know, people sometimes freak out with the hypnotherapy side of things that I do or the spiritual stuff that I do. And it's like, if you like this, then there's the option to do the personalized coaching. Versus doing a sales call, inquiry call, discovery call. They're all much the same, and then going into whatever package works for you. So there's two ways of working. I always had the really strong belief that I would not work for free, but I also didn't have the discipline not to do the work in those discovery calls. So I would clear people's beliefs conversationally, and then they didn't need me or didn't need the coaching, and then they'd get healing amnesia. And yeah, so I was like, no, we'll do a one-off session, and then if you want more, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Cool. Thank you. Thanks.
Cool.
Oh, shit, sorry, that's my.
You can ask
As you're identifying those like aha moments along the way, like those limiting beliefs maybe that are coming up for Sarah, are they things that you talk through with her, like in terms of converting her for ongoing sessions and helping her to understand that there's a lot more there maybe that's holding her back? Are you
I wouldn't do the grow model as a one-off.
Right.
Yeah. And even somebody working in the corporate world would not do this as a one-off. It'd be there's already an agreement in place that there's ongoing support, and this is the starting to know where we're going to take this. I had a client this morning, and I said to her, she's like, no, you take the lead, Claire. And I said, we're dancing the dance together. I can do a particular process that will leave you like, wow, things are shifting, or you sound quite vulnerable at the moment. Do you just need to talk it out? Do you just need that human connection? And it was like, yeah, I actually just need the human connection. Like, great, we'll do the big stuff next week. So that's where the grow model comes in, and then there's sessions planned, and they're not rigid. They're they're personalized coaching, but yeah, this is not a first time session.
So the grow model is essentially like a program, like it's like a 3-month or a 6-month container that you would take someone through.
Right now, at least, like you could grab hold of a friend and take them through the grow model and just for fun, for experiencing what it means. But then you also know that, okay, well, cool, friend, do you want parts integration now? Friend, do you want timeline now? You can, so you can definitely play with it. But yes, everything that I'm teaching you in the practitioner level is better suited in ongoing programs, because the truth be told, you can make a big difference to people's lives with these processes. You know, Lucy highlighted that with parts integration. Their world has now changed, and it's a silly metaphor, and I keep coming back to it because it works. You can help somebody resolve their fear of spiders, but now how do they function in the world when they enter a room with spiders? Do they know how to get the spider out of the room? And if you think about somebody who's had ADHD, right, and they're like, they've had that executive dysfunction, memory problems, they've made their world fit a particular structure. Then you put them on medication and like, wow, mental clarity, blah, blah, blah. That's when they need the support to go, holy shit, my world has just completely changed. Now what do I do? So that's where the clearing the processes and the support in the strategies for success go hand in hand.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think I need to rest my voice for 10 minutes. I love the enthusiasm. I love the questions. We're going to shift into anchors next. So be ready for another wonderful next hour and a half or so.
Can
But
I
I'll
just
see you in
say,
about 10 minutes.
can I just say thank you, Claire, and to
Oh,
everybody?
yes, sorry.
Because I feel quite a bit emotional as well from where I've come, or the shift, the realization. So I just wanted to say thank you, everybody as a group as well. Yeah.
Sarah, you're very, very welcome at Ray's for giving you kisses. Sarah,
Yeah.
I will check in. Sarah, I will check in with you tomorrow if you want to let me know when your lunch break is or not.
Sure.
Because I don't want to leave you emotional and like we
Yeah.
can talk.
Yeah, but thank you. Really, really thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, right.
Yeah.
I'll see you in about 10-ish
All right.
minutes.
Did you change your clothes?
Yeah, I literally spilled water all over me. And
I thought I was like, I've gone into a different time.
yeah, I like, do I say hey cold or do I just change? Like, you're
Well,
lucky
because
I'm not.
I was writing you a message as well, and I was just like, that's weird. Now she's appeared and she's in something else. I said
Yeah.
that anyway. Oh gosh.
Uh, so being in Germany is working for you now?
Yes, I just sent you the message about how I reflected on maybe I was a bit too non-specific about I don't want to be independent anymore. And that just came and smacked me in the face at full force.
But you got, like, you can drive though, like in Germany, like that all got worked out.
Yeah, thank you about the thing about the digital pass, because then I went into panic mode to download that app and get it all done. Like literally as I was boarding the aircraft and the thing kept cutting out and not working and it wouldn't use the authenticator and I was still in tears. I think I was close to them like denying me boarding because I was a mental case.
You're gonna pump Valium down your end of the aeroplane, right?
Oh God. And then I can't remember if I told you, we were about to take off down the runway and the guy 2 rows in front of me started screaming out for help. He's like, help, help. And I was like, oh my God, what else is going to go wrong today? And his wife had passed out and then started like projectile vomiting while she was unconscious. Anyway, so it was a whole thing like that. It was just like one thing after I spoke to one thing after another, after another, after another.
You can't make that up.
Until, yeah, just everything. They couldn't get into my bank accounts when I got here. Yes. Anyway, but it's all, then I went back and I did like a thing and I went back and I said, hey, can we have that meeting again? And can I reword what I asked for? Thanks. And then things started to drop in and like, okay, right, back to me. Now I need to do this and I need to do that and all sorted. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I'll remember that if we ever do a retreat and travel together, Nicole.
Yeah. Anyway,
Fun.
it was a
All
learning
right,
lesson.
So we are going to pivot and we're going to talk about a whole new topic. We're going to talk about anchors. Is anyone familiar with anchors, the word anchor, beyond it being part of a ship? Anchors is new?
Only what I listened to with Rick. He talked about it.
Such a brilliant memory for what Rick said, Karen.
I don't know if I remember it all, but I just remember it was about finding a relating in different ways. So being able to relate to experiences.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would make a really good slide, actually. That's a good way of putting anchors. The anchors component, well, I'm about to bring up all the slides and talk about it, but I just want to let you know anchors, there's 3 components that we talk about in anchors, and I'm only going to cover one component tonight, and then we'll revisit the other 2 later down the track. So bringing up the slides and ignoring that one. Page 157 if you've got your manual. The formal way of describing an anchor is a stimulus which triggers a specific or physiological or emotional state of behavior. So they're the conditioning at an unconscious level. Tell me, Lilo, what stands out to you? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you see this particular picture?
Red.
Lucy, what stands out to you?
Well, I think I misunderstood the question. I was going to say the sound of opening a cola bottle.
Yep, that's perfect. Yep. Anyone else? Lily?
Bubbles.
Why do I have an image of bubbles like going out of your nose then? Like, is that something you've had Coke and then laughed and it all? Anyway. So what you guys have all demonstrated is that's an anchor. You've seen something and it's taken you to a particular topic or a particular idea or a particular memory. If we go to this one, Ray, is there anything that what's the first thing that comes to mind with this one?
I don't want to say.
Now we want to know.
No, I'd rather not say.
Something naughty?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Which takes us to Elise. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you see this one?
Oh, I went to not a great place, but I thought of George Floyd and all of the protests.
Yep. Let's go to the next one then. Oh, no. Karen, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Oh, just discomfort.
Discomfort, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah. I've had twins. This brings up discomfort. Yes. Courtney, what was the first thing that comes to mind for you?
A loud environment.
Okay. Yeah. I think there might be one more. Rachel, what comes to mind for you?
The Lego movie.
Yeah, cool. So when it comes back to anchors, a stimulus is a trigger that creates that physiological or emotional state of behavior. So even with the police one, Elise went somewhere emotional, Ray went somewhere naughty. But the anchors are things that, again, are that stimulus where it brings up a different thing that's not specifically the item in hand, so to speak. So I've got other anchors there for coffee, the pyramids, Christmas. They all take each of us to a different place. I don't think I know. There'll be an answer here for the assessment about what is an anchor. And yeah, so the answer is that stimulus which triggers a specific physiological or emotional state of behavior. Everyone say choose. So we can create resourceful anchors within, and we can also undo limiting anchors. So like, again, I'm sorry to bring that up, Elise, but like that anchor that just happened for Elise, we could actually use this NLP process to undo that. We could also use this process to undo the response that Karen and I had to babies, the discomfort. And of course, we can also use anchors to build in something that's working for you. So if you want a better performance, if you want, then we need to build in those strong positive anchors. And so therefore, you've got something that then takes you to that sense of empowerment. You are utilizing anchors every single day. You may hear some music and immediately it lifts your energy, or it takes you back to a time that you spent with a friend. You can have people will use crystals, and yes, they have a vibrational shift, but they're also an anchor. You hold on to your rose quartz, like, okay, I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling safe. Anytime any sports athletes will have performance anchored into their boots. My husband used to work for some of the football, Richmond and so on and so forth, and he would deliberately anchor in their prime performance into their boots. So the minute that they put those on, whoosh, this physiological shift came up into them that, yeah, they're ready to get onto the field to kick those goals. So once you know that you've got those anchors, you can use them every single day. And anyone who came to that complimentary group, you would have heard Evie talk about anchors. She loves them. So is this making sense so far? So some more anchors. I'm curious, how does your body respond when you see these? Oh, we're all getting to the end of the night, we're all tired. I'll call on someone with the next one. Manny, when you're the one in green, when you saw the green light, how did your body respond?
Relaxed.
Yep. Yep, perfect. And then Manny, I don't know actually, with your culture, like did your nana cook is there a sweet dish that your nanas are known to cook in your culture?
Yeah, a lot of sweet dishes. Yeah, plenty. Yeah, but
When you walk into an Australian bakery and they're cooking cookies, does it take you back to childhood or it's different?
no, it's different.
Yeah.
But
Anyone? Yeah, sorry.
I was saying I love the smell of cookies. Yeah, like
You got the bakery next door from where you work too.
yeah, yeah.
Has anyone got that sensory experience? Their nana made the cookies, like that's their go-to thing, comfort food.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is where real estate agents know that a lot of people have that anchor connected to the cookies. It represents comfort, it represents home to most people. So this is why real estate agents will bake cookies or do something in a home. So instead of you walking into a strange cold place, oh, this place feels like home. And it's all of these unconscious anchors that they're triggering in you to get the response for you to pay more for the house, which is the next slide that I forgot that I put in there. So as I'm bringing up this anchors content, I want to bring to your attention how much you are being influenced at that unconscious level, that the marketing world will deliberately play at your unconscious level to trigger these anchors. When it came to the Coca-Cola and there was the bubbles and the, people who like it, well, oh, I'm thirsty. People who don't like it may have felt repulsed. But just bringing to your conscious awareness between now and the next time we talk to notice how much your body is responding to the things that are deliberately put in front of you. Anchors can definitely be triggered in all of your rep systems. It can trigger off the self-talk, hear a song, you see something, you feel feel the texture of your cat and it takes you back to childhood, taste and smelling. Excuse me, today what we're going to use is the kinesthetic anchor. We're all familiar with Tony Robbins, yeah? Hands up, yeah? Yeah. So you'll see Tony Robbins, anytime that he's in that intense state of emotion, he is anchoring. He's doing that clap thing to the point where he's nearly hurt his wrists and his hands. But he has created an anchor that the moment that he's like, bang, he is switched on, he's rising his energy. And that's all it really takes for him to get into that peak performance. So in NLP, this anchoring, it refers to a process associated to that internal response to something that's happening outside of you. So put simply, we create an anchor so that when you are in feeling less resourceful, you can, oh, there's a spelling mistake there. You can quickly and effectively put yourself back into that resourceful state. Is this making sense? Has anyone got ideas coming to them about how or when they might use this?
I realised I did this during the HSC. I studied chocolate and I like a particular brand of chocolate because that's what gives me joy. And then I took it into the HSC, and any time I felt like I couldn't answer a question, I'd eat a bit of that chocolate.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's deliberate. It was deliberate,
I
right?
didn't
To
realize
get your.
that's what that was, but yeah, it really worked.
Is there anywhere else you're using anchors, Lucy?
Not that come to mind. I'm sure now that you've made me think of it, I'm doing it like I did back then.
Yeah, if you switched on back in year 12 to create an anchor, like I can only imagine that. I do know and Dr. DeMartini, I think he's one. He will, I think it's his, using him to another thought leader. He will anchor success into every door handle or to the door handle to his office. So he touches that door handle, bang, he's in peak performance, like, let's go. I know other people, well, get into their car and it's like the steering wheel, it's like, yep, I'm ready to go. So they'll deliberately utilize anchors to shortcut all of the nonsense and the anxiety and the overwhelm. We're like, no, let's just get back into peak performance, which yeah, pretty powerful. Any questions so far? No. Go back to the slides. So today we're going to do a group process, and if you want to practice with people outside, that is very, very, very invited and welcome to practice. This is where Zoom training, I had to change my Zoom training to accommodate this, because if we were in the classroom, I'd actually have somebody up next to me and I would be getting permission to touch their hand, and we would be actually creating an anchor physically. But tonight what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through a process so that you know how to do this over Zoom. But I would encourage you to grab a family member or a friend and do this process one-on-one with permission to touch them. Here's my little naughty one here. So keep in mind that there are areas of the body that have more nerve endings. Let me just backtrack a little bit. So where we're going with this is tonight what we're going to do is we're all going to anchor a sense of confidence and empowerment. And for tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to use one of your knuckles just to have the experience of it. Because it's on your hand, it is likely that you're going to wash it off, you're going to touch it, and it may go away. But if you were doing this with a one-on-one client, you may actually anchor a crystal. I've known to anchor through COVID times. I was anchoring nurses that I was working with to touch their chin where their mask would be, to perfect health and healing. It would be like, yeah, immune system, come back on, function, and perfect health and healing. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to anchor empowerment into a knuckle. And that's why I say grab hold of a friend if you can to practice this process. Any questions so far? So that's why this slide, which I went 2 steps ahead, says that keep in mind if you are going to do anchors with other people, you know, the fact that if you get turned on when your husband kisses your neck or whatever it is, these are all anchors. Anchors are happening all the time. So yeah, my question is, who wants to feel good for no reason? That's where we're going to tonight. The best states to anchor are the ones that are naturally occurring. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to get you to access a time in the past where you felt confident. This what the list of words is coming up. And what you do is you think about a time when you felt absolutely amazing. You imagine stepping into your body, dialing up those good feelings. And when you can see somebody have that sensory experience, like they're back in that sense of confidence, you then touch the knuckle for about 5 seconds and then take it off. And tonight what we're going to do is we're going to stack the anchors. So then I'm going to ask you to go back to a time where you felt absolute true bliss. And then I'm going to ask you to touch your knuckle. And then I'm going to ask you to go back to a time where you felt absolutely empowered and touch your knuckle. And then we break state. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is to touch your knuckle again. And most of you will notice there's that sensory experience of like it naturally coming to the surface. It's the most bizarro, weird experience. Anyone got any questions so far? No? And so you could definitely do this if you're somebody who wears glasses. It's like, yeah, I put these on, I'm sharp, whatever it is that you want. So tonight, I want you to notice that the best states to anchor are the ones that are naturally occurring, that you can step into your body. That's like that associated. You're looking through your own eyes. The least preferable ones are constructed states. So if you've never felt, I don't know why, I have witnessed this. If you've got somebody who's never felt confident and they want to feel confident, that wouldn't work. You want something that they can go step into that they've had. So these would be the ones that you could anchor. Totally confident, magically creative, entirely enthusiastic, that's self-assured, completely loved, sensually sexy, gracefully grounded, whatever it is that you want more of. And so again, in order for this to work, you need to be able to feel into that now. So when I say I want you to think of a time when you were happy, your mind will disassociate. It'll take yourself out of the body. It'll go back to the past. It will bring up those strong feelings of you being happy. And so when you get the client to go back, step into that feeling, hold on to that feeling, and then you anchor it, then that sense of happiness, that feeling, that happiness is going to come to the surface. So that's a bit of the pre-frame. Let's go into the detail of it. I think there might be an assessment question on the transderivational search. Maybe, maybe not. So I'm going to come back to this page. I'm going to come back to that one. No, I'm not. It's right in my face. So one of the number one things that you utilize within anchoring is what's known as the transderivational search. And so let's have a look. Elise, can you think of a time, a specific time when you felt totally confident? You got that? And as you go back to the time where you were totally confident, I want you to step into your body, to see what you saw, hear what you heard, and say the things that you said to yourself when you felt totally confident. And as you've got that, Elise, just invite you just to touch that knuckle of yours because you can. And then when you're ready, finger off the knuckle and coming back to the room. How did you find that, Elise, just momentarily going back to that time when you felt totally confident?
Good. I could really feel myself in that space. Like, yeah, the energy that I felt.
You got flushed then, like you got
Oh,
pink in the,
really?
yeah. Yeah, it was beautiful. So yeah, we could even watch you just going back to that time. Thank you for that when I put you on the spot. So what you just witnessed very momentarily, there's me and Denise having a wow of a time doing anchors, is you want to watch the client. You want to say the transvaridational search and you watch for that sensory experience when they start to shift in their color. They may smile, they may, sit up more, something will change. And that's exactly when you ask them to hold on to their knuckle because they're at that peak state. Now, you want to hold on to it for about 5 to 10 seconds and really let that energy build. If you wait too long, then the physiology starts to wear off and the anchor will not be as strong, which I didn't have a picture there. I thought I did. So yeah, so you'll see within the client, especially if you're doing this one-on-one, the skin tonus will change or the lower lip size, the breathing rate. Look out for the eyes, the pupils, the posture, the color. Just look out for something that's shifted in them, and that's your indication that it's time to either you touch the client with permission or you ask them to. Yeah, and as I said, if the anchor past that peak state, the anchor will be less effective. So if you were doing this with someone who's going to get up on stage with mediumship and to really feel into the sense of confidence, you want to be able to anchor it when they're like laser ready to do readings more than sort of coming back into the room. Now, one of these is in the assessment. I don't use acronyms very well. My memory doesn't work for them, but it's an NLP thing. So the 4 steps to anchoring, I would encourage you to take a photo. It's either this one or the next one that's in the assessment, is race. You're going to ask the client to recall a past vivid experience. You don't need to know what it is. You just need to know the state that you want them to have. You then want to anchor. So you've already talked to the client where you want to anchor. Is it on their glasses, their shoulder, their earlobe? Like, where do they want it? Their lucky pen. So you provide that specific stimulus. Then you get that client to change, so to go back into that state. think of popcorn, come at break state, and then again test the anchor to notice that the anchor has worked. There's me and Rick playing funny buggers in the training room. This is the other one that's in the assessment. Again, I don't use acronyms, so these don't work for the way my memory works. The important things with the anchoring is the intensity. So getting the client, like we saw with Elise, to have that full experience. The timing of the anchor to get it when you notice there's a shift. The uniqueness of the anchor. So like I said, you know, if you do knuckles, you can pretty much wash them off. You know, you have a crappy day and you clench your fists and stuff, like you can make the anchor go away. Or choose somewhere that works. The replication, so you want to be able to repeat that anchor multiple times to really set it in place, for that client to work. And you often see in the holistic world, when people are doing breath work, meditation, sometimes you'll see them center themselves by putting their hand on the chest. And it's just like that deliberate pause, that breath. And the truth is that if they were in a stressful space, if they did the same thing, the anchor is set, they would go back to that blissful state. So the anchor is set. Is this making sense? Yeah. And again, no different to like being in a Buddhist temple where they chime the bell. And again, it's an anchor to get people to come back to that present state. They're used all over the world. So tonight what we're going to do together is we're going to stack an anchor. As I said earlier, we're going to think of happiness, motivated, fulfilled, excited. And you can change these, but as a group process, this one all works for everybody, right? Page 160 if you need it. This is obvious. The very first thing you must do is get in rapport, but I will continue to remind everyone, get in rapport with your client. Now you're going to ask the client, which knuckle would you like to use? Again, whether it's on Zoom or in person. And tonight I'm just going to use the index finger, but I need to decide which knuckle are you going to use. Like, can everybody sort of put their hand up and show me like, yep, we're participating. Cool. Everyone's happy with that? Then if you're in person, is it okay for me to touch you on your hand? And then you would be the coach would be the one that would touch the knuckle. Online, I'm going to ask that as we go, well, I'm going to command, but instruct, invite. As we go through this process and the time is right, I will ask you to touch you on your knuckle and you get the agreement with the client. Is that okay? Everyone nodded then. You want to identify the positive anchors. So let's just say that somebody was going into a really stressful solicitors mediation meeting. You may want to set your client up to come back to being centered, confident, at ease. You would use different words, but being in the training room, these are the easy ones for tonight. So I'm going to show you my slides and then I'm going to take you through the process. So the first time so we're in rapport, we know which knuckle we're going to use. And I'm going to ask you to go back to a time when you felt totally happy. And now step into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, say the things that you said to yourself when you felt totally happy. And in fact, increase that feeling even more. So you really feel that energy, that happiness move throughout your whole body. And as you do, I want you to touch that knuckle, holding that knuckle, letting that happiness ripple all throughout your funny knuckles, and then letting that go. Okay, and now breathe. Oh, there's my picture of happiness. Okay, now invite the client can have their eyes closed is better. Go back to a time when you felt totally motivated and now step into your body to see what you saw, hear what you heard, and say the things that you said to yourself when you felt totally motivated. And it's like, yes, Sarah, we're getting that structure done. There's a sense of accomplishment. It's like, yes, feeling amazing as we touch that knuckle, holding that motivation there on 3, 2, 1 and letting that go. that right, Sarah? We got that? And then I want you to now go back to a time where you felt totally fulfilled, Erin, in business, where you felt completely satisfied. There's that sense of fulfillment, and you step into your body to see what you saw, hear what you heard, say the things that you said to yourself, and to feel what you felt, and getting that sense of fulfillment to flow throughout your entire body, increasing the intensity of it, breathing in that fulfillment and touching your knuckle, holding that knuckle as that sense of fulfillment is there. And on 3, 2, 1, letting that knuckle go. And now going back to a time when you felt totally excited, stepping into your body to see what you saw, hear what you heard, and say the things that you said to yourself when you felt totally excited. And it's like, woo, just feeling that feeling of excitement coming up as it goes all throughout your body, touching that knuckle, holding onto that knuckle, feeling that sense of excitement, and then letting that go. There's my excitement. And then what we're going to do is we're going to break state. So what that does is it tells the brain to get out of that emotional sensation and come back into that logical state of mind. So we're really getting the mind to break, to clear the screen. You can say, clear the screen. You can say, what's your phone number backwards? Count backwards from 300. Do you play golf? Can you smell popcorn? What's your postcode backwards? Anything that gets them out of that emotional state. And we do that now because the slate is now being cleared, and we test the anchor. And so we're just going to ask the client to touch their knuckle, just allowing the feelings to come up as you're feeling that happy, resourceful, amazing self. And then again, as the coach just starts to observe, they may flush, they may have that sensory experience. As we've now created that neural network to deliberately go through the knuckle to that now means yes, and it'll now bring it up. It's the most strangest, weird experience. Cleansing breath for me. Any questions?
Do you find you have to do more than just there's that 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that? I don't know, it just seems so fast.
I did do it. We haven't done it yet, but that was fast. Yeah.
But is it still 4 times, or do you find you need to do 20 or 50 or 300 until they actually feel the button?
Oh no, that's it. That'll be done.
That's wild.
It's like parts integration. It was like, Claire, it can't be that, but like it can be. The psychologists out there overcomplicate things. Yeah. So this is where you in your own world can start to create the anchor, like the success on the door handle, whatever it is that works for you, and to just even build that up. The pillow or whatever it is, the pillow means of going back into sense of peace. Has anyone sort of got ideas on how they want to already use this? So if I'd known Nicole was going on the plane and we didn't have other things to work on, I would have anchored safety, peace, to the plane. I would have done a different kind, or would have done anchoring so that when she gets on, it was almost kind of amusing to be on the so you can use this for big deal situations, and then you can just use it for picking up your phone before you go on social media, like, yeah, optimum state, I'm ready to go.
Okay, I want to I'm running a marathon at the end of the year, so would I anchor like motivation to my runners every time I put them on? I like just want to go.
It's like your lucky undies, but yeah.
My lucky undies.
Yeah, so when do you feel the most motivated, enthusiastic about having the runners on? Like, is it when you finish the race, or like, yay, I've escaped the children, I'm out the door? Like, when is it the top performance.
Well, yeah, I find it the hardest to actually do it, to actually go on the run. But once I've finished it, I've got this sense of accomplishment. I'd feel good and I never regret going on the run. It's always just getting out the door and actually going for it and battling with my brain to actually go on the run.
Yeah, cool. Well, then just this is a bit more of a master's process, but if you close your eyes right now, Lily, and I want you to imagine out there that there's that plane of glass. It's quite weird that the glass is there, but it's a little bit like being at the aquarium. The glass is there, but behind the glass, I want you to notice that there's that version of you who is at that peak performance, that fitness, that health, and just noticing and observing her behind that glass, that she's got it. She's got everything that she needs set up. The diet's working for her. The motivation is there. And in fact, just noticing how she's completed that marathon and feeling really, really good about that sense of accomplishment. Now, as you notice that version of you already behind that glass, I want you to notice that for some strange reason, you really take notice of those shoes. It's just like those shoes are absolutely magical. It's like the thing that carries her forward, moves her forward. And as you notice those shoes, you see how that sense of accomplishment, that motivation, that drive, that fulfillment, all of that energy just pours into her shoes. And that's the way that that version of Lily likes it. Because when she's wearing those, it's like, yep, it's happening. Now, for some strange reason, she leaves that scene. She gets out of those shoes. She leaves the shoes behind. And she just leaves that scene. And in a moment, not now, I'm going to ask you to notice that that glass is going to go up. And when that glass goes up, you're going to feel completely magnetized towards those shoes. So in 3, 2, 1, going over to those shoes as the glass goes up, motivated to step into those shoes, and whoosh, feeling that energy of that motivation, determination. It's just like stepping into that new you. That energy just ripples throughout your entire being. I want you to get your unconscious mind to lock that into place, Lily. And as you've got that now, you've now got that option, that choice to carry you forward when you get to that next marathon, or the next practice, I should say. And so when you're ready, Lily, opening your eyes to a whole new you.
Oh, I actually felt like I wanted to run. My legs and my feet were tingling. My feet, I could feel it. Like now I'm like, I'm going for a run. See you later. Wow, that was actually amazing. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that happened like within 60 seconds.
Oh, my feet are still like, yeah, my feet were tingling. That was so, I actually just felt myself like trying to go. Yeah, that was really cool.
So now take your shoes off, like take those off in your mind and leave them at the magical front doors.
I'll be running tomorrow because I couldn't go for a run. I just couldn't get myself in the rain to go. Normally I do, but no, that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, so it will still take a few repetitions, right? Like you still play with the neurology of your mind. Like, cool, I'm going for a run, I'm going to test out this weird magical shoes bit. Make it fun, make it a game in your mind. But it's set up now if you want it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone, you're all ready now for anchors? Even though it's nearly bedtime, I'm going to rev you up. Shell's going to be like doing laps. No, he won't. I'll anchor back into bedtime. We can rev you up, Nicole. I don't feel guilty about that. You're ready for the day.
Bring it on.
Cool. Okay, we're ready for... I know that I can do this scriptless, but I'm going to do it properly. We're in rapport. Now, which knuckle would you like to anchor? Thank you, everybody. As we go through this process and the time is right, I'm going to ask you to touch the knuckle. All nod, yes, we're going to agree. And we're all in agreement, happy, motivated, fulfilled, excited. Okay, so here we go, getting ready for that sense of happiness. I invite you to close your eyes. And what I want you to do is I want you to go back to a time when you felt totally happy. Now, stepping into your body, when you felt totally happy, getting back into that memory, feeling totally happy and seeing what you saw, hearing what you heard, said to yourself, when you felt totally happy, and as you've got that memory, I want you to touch that knuckle and give yourself permission to increase that happiness even more, dialing up the happiness and feel yourself kind of giggling in the insides there. On 3, 2, 1, taking that finger off the knuckle and just getting yourself to breathe. Now, I want you to scan the memory of your mind, going back to a time when you felt totally motivated, going back to a time when you knew what you want, you saw what you wanted, you made a plan, you actioned that plan, and it absolutely stayed the right plan. I want you to step into your body to see what you saw, hear what you heard, and say the things that you said to yourself as you touch that knuckle there of that total motivation. And it's that yes feeling, I'm getting this done, world, get out of my way, because the sense of accomplishment is so amazing. And then we just take the finger off the knuckle, catching your breath. And now I'll invite you to go back to a time when you felt totally fulfilled. You know, that fulfillment there that just makes everything feel so fulfilled. Just invite you to step into your body, to see what you saw, see what you said, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and say the things that you said to yourself when you had that total body fulfillment. Touching that knuckle and getting a sense of where you feel that fulfillment in your body. Increasing that feeling of fulfillment, breathing it in, noticing how that fulfillment just ripples throughout every fiber of your being. And it's just that ease of being completely fulfilled as you take your finger off that knuckle. Cleansing breath. And here we go. We're going to dial up the fun. We're going to dial up the excitement. I want you to scan the memory of your mind and go back to a time when you felt totally excited. And when you find that memory, I want you to just step back into that body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and say the things that you said to yourself when you felt totally excited, and just really dialing up that sense of excitement. It's like, woohoo, we're getting it done, the excitement, the toes curl up, and it bounces that energy throughout your entire being as you touch that knuckle and letting that excitement ripple all the way down your arms, into your feet, into your aura. And it's that sense of excitement as you take your finger off that knuckle. Cleansing breath. Okay, and I just invite you all to just come back to the room for a moment, opening your eyes to come back to that logical framework. Thinking, can you smell popcorn? I'm wondering what your postcode is backwards. Okay, now here comes the fun bit. So when I count from 3 to 1, when I get to 1, I just invite everybody to touch and just to notice what happens. It may be subtle, it may be outlandish, but on 3, 2, 1, touching that knuckle and inviting those feel-good feelings to come flooding back to your awareness. Maybe subtle, maybe enjoyable, but it's now a tool that you've got access to. And now taking your finger off. Oh, how was that, Nicole?
It was good. Really calm.
Yay. What's that like for you, Lilo?
Yeah, it felt really good.
Did you get any sensory experience after? Like did you feel?
Yeah, just a sense of warmth afterwards. Really relaxed, to be honest, and good.
Yeah, your natural relaxed state is that high vibe, happy state. That's so nice. Courtney, were you going to say something, or is that just a pen?
It was just a pen, but I can. It was interesting because I found it really hard to tap into the happiness one. And I was like, wow, I've been so just living like this lately. But it was interesting when we went back to doing this, I felt like before you even said it, I was like, I literally feel like I'm just gonna start like hysterically laughing.
And so once we got past the happiness one, were the others easy?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, because I honestly felt myself going, okay, go back to and I went, wait, these people haven't done this before. Go back and like do the happiness bit. So I think we're on the same wavelength there. That yeah, I rushed it a little bit with the happiness, but most people would have got there with happiness. I had like happy birthday playing in my head. That's probably why I was rushing it. Anyone else want to share their experience? Cool. So in the next few weeks, what I will do is I'll show you the other anchors processes towards the end of the evening. So if we've got what I like to do is to give the really big engagement processes, the thought ones, towards the earlier part of the night, and then the ones where you guys don't have to think too much in breakout rooms, I leave that stuff to the evenings. So I'll definitely come back to anchors to show you how to collapse an anchor to reverse the negative. And then there's, what did we do? Stacking anchors. So then the next one is chaining anchors. And chaining anchors is about moving someone from procrastination to motivation. So we're not getting rid of procrastination, we're getting them to move towards the thing that they've been delaying. So yeah, normally I do anchors in one full-blown night, but I would really encourage everyone to practice this bit so that it gets familiar, so that when we get to the other ones that are a little bit more, yeah, they're more thought, I can't think of the word, they're more involved in thinking about it. Yeah, they'll be familiar to you down the track. What I am going to do is I'm going to put 2 Facebook posts up this week. One is just that prompt to say, here's the like to dislike script. You will need that because next week you will be paired up to take somebody through the like to dislike process. Yeah, and I'll share other resources on that. The other one that I'm going to do somewhere in the week, I will put up another anchors video, and I would really encourage people to watch David Shepherd do anchors in person and notice how the woman starts to giggle ridiculously, and take notice that even when he hasn't prompted her to touch a knuckle, she's giggling at how ridiculous the process is, and he's just sitting next to her, touching her knuckle, building that anchor. I think in that particular video, she went from absolutely hating books and reading books to the end, she just had a wow of a time with it. So yeah, this process is weird how it works. As I always say, is there any questions? Does that make sense? We're all excited for anchors. Yeah. Yeah.
You know how you just said before about collapsing the anchor? Does that mean, so I was practicing that again. Do I have to clear that knuckle before I can put something else on that knuckle?
Yeah, I would genuinely say like that knuckle will probably get washed off before now and then. But yes, I have had students deliberately use the other hand to collapse an anchor. So yeah, you can. Yep.
So sorry, does that mean I have to clear it before I can put something else on there? Or over time it will disappear and I can put something new on top of it?
Yeah, I would say to keep things clear and to make it precise, I would say collapse anchors on a different hand.
Okay.
Yep. Elise, did you have a question? Was that your voice or was Rachel? Sorry.
I had a question. How long does an anchor last? Like say I'm a bit confused about the like washing off thing.
Yeah, so as a demonstration in this group, NLP World uses the knuckles. But if I was doing this with you, Rachel, in a one-on-one session like I've just done with Lily, I would be using something that you can carry with you. So I would, if you're somebody who wears an engagement ring or something, I would get you to engage confidence is my little sneaky trick for the mediums in the room or anyone who has to do training on stage or anything on stage. I have my shoes that I only ever do mediumship in, and you will see me on stage and I'll do a very quick dunk dunk, and spirit world knows that I'm ready to, they're my feet, by the way, know that I'm ready to work. And that's my anchor. I'm now in mediumship mode. Spirit, you're allowed to bombard me. I accidentally wore those shoes on a date night with David and he couldn't get a word in. I'm like, oh, got your Auntie Jean and blah, 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 blah. So you can use these anchors with, I would encourage you to use it with material items more than the body, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, and you will see mediums, they'll have their lucky crystal. Spirit comes to me when it's like, no, it's not. You've anchored it. Like it's this means come forward. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Any other questions about anchors?
I have a question. Is it, I'm just going to use this chocolate example just because it was the one that I guess I did. Like I didn't obviously do this process. Instead, it was more, I guess, just repetition, in the sense that I would always bring my chocolate to the time I'd study. And whenever like when I was studying and I had what I thought was like a good thought, I ate the chocolate. And then when I was in the opposite states that I wanted to call forward like knowledge, I'd eat it. Could you also, does that also work, or is that just totally different, that we stick with this process of past experience, call forward?
You're going to love the Godiva pattern, which uses chocolate to do just that. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there as a, no, this gives you structure, Lucy, when you're working with a one-on-one client. So you can definitely model what you've done and teach another person. But if you also just wanted the structure on, okay, clients come to you, they're freaking out, they need the confidence. Hey, let's create an anchor and then let's go do timeline, blah, blah, blah. So it just gives you the structure on a session rather than trying to teach someone to rehearse it.
Yeah. And might it be, let's say you do a session on it and you've got, I don't know, like a pen, and that's the thing. Would you ever say to them, when you are feeling confident, touch the pen? Like if you, so then it's like constantly reaffirming that anchor.
Yeah, which is no different than like a child with their security blanket or a teddy or something. It's like, or the dummy, they're all pretty much anchors.
Okay, cool.
Comfort food is an anchor, and it's like, it's a negative anchor. It may give you comfort, but it's, you know, so you can undo that as well.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, I love how everyone's minds are working with how and where they might use it. Is there any other questions on this stuff?
So if you were just like feeling exceptionally happy or confident or something one day and you were like, oh, capture this, you could make an anchor in the moment, just like grab something and
like anchor your lucky lip balm, like, oh yeah, I'm ready for, you know what I mean? Like yeah, from everybody's experience, touching the knuckle and the warm fuzzies come back up. This is one of the tools that your mind is working. So if you know about the tool, you can use it for your benefit. And then you can also take notice if you're shopping and it's like, oh, there's an anchor. Oh, and it's like, yeah, but do I choose to engage with that anchor? So now that you know about it, it just comes back to choice if you want to use it. So in trainers training, they teach us a lot of anchors, and you will notice that not so much. Well, yes, me, but not so like trainer state is pretty damn strong and confident. It would take a lot to get me to waver out of trainer state. The minute that the laptop closes, I go back to being mum to my daughters. That's a different state. And so this state, the way that I present, has been anchored. And it's the same for the way that Erin shows up for, or all of you that shows up for work. I'm ready, let's go. Do you know what I mean?
Is that why a lot of people, I'm just reflecting now, like I had so many people, especially in my old like job, where people would say, "Oh, my brain's not switched on. I haven't had my coffee," but it's not actually the caffeine. It's what I'm realizing now. It's the anchor that symbols my work day is beginning.
You got it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. But look at you all. I'm watching eye patterns now.
Can you unanchor something that you actually haven't anchored, but someone's saying like for the morning, if like they feel like they need their coffee to start their workday, can you unanchor it so they don't need that coffee to feel like they start for the workday?
Yeah,
Do you get
collapse the name.
I was thinking like for a negative thing, like I'm just thinking of someone who might have like, oh, they just wake up and they rub their eyes and they just feel anxious, let's just say. Can you like unanchor that anxious feeling from rubbing your eyes?
Yes, you notice that you still need to replace it. Any habits, people don't quit smoking, they replace it with something else. And it's the same with anchors, is like we're not just getting rid of something, we're going to create the better empowered feeling. With timeline and other NLP process, we would resolve that anxiety, but then this is one of the strategies for success. Is like, hey, now you have the choice to step back into that empowered state.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just ask, what if you forgot those shoes and you wore other shoes and you went on stage?
Do not.
But what happens if you do, like, and you've got, that's your security?
So I've anchored the movement.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, my legs will stand apart and it'll be boom boom, like, like that strong, confident woman on stage. She's not be like bang, ready to work.
That's an interesting point though. If it like, say it was the shoes and you didn't have them, would you then go, I'm not, would you?
I would never do that. Yeah. I would never do that.
I know you wouldn't, but someone anchored their, ring or whatever with confidence, and then they were going to this
you could have you could have like an athlete who was like, oh, I didn't kick that goal because I wasn't wearing my lucky underwear, blah, 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 and it's like, okay.
And it's in that moment you just have to choose to feel that state without the anchor kind of thing. Like have that mental power to not let it, diminish your performance or whatever.
Well, the thing is, how we've got, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but we've got 12 different laws. We've got like the law of attraction, law of blah, 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 cause and effect. One of those laws actually states that once you've reached a particular level, you now have access to that. So you may drop your energy, but you still have access to come back up to that level. So someone who loses a lot of money, they still have the blueprint, the knowledge, the energy, the access to come back to that level of finance. And it's the same with the anchor side of things, is once you've done it, you now know that you can do it. There's pretty much like, you've got all doors open to creating that.
And I guess also, isn't there like now proof that our minds can't tell the difference between reality and imagination? So even if you didn't have the physical thing, I guess the exercise that you did with Erin was proof of that, right? She could think of the shoes. She didn't need to have the shoes. And just thinking of the shoes was enough. Is that fair, Claire?
Yeah. So that was Lily. I will do it with Erin if she wants me to. That's where one of the techniques with that's all good, with sports performance, there have been studies where they've had one group practice in their mind and anchor in their mind this, I'm thinking of basketball, compared to the group who did it physically, and the one who did it physically and rehearsed it in the mind were the ones that got success. Yeah.
I'm wearing
There's quite a lot of studies around like that visualization, particularly in sport and athletes. And now it makes sense. You're like, there's so many anchors involved there. But yeah.
There is, right? And now you can catch people out on it or just use it to the advantage. That would be no different if you know, if we were in the classroom together and I had the magic demonstration chair, and every time you sit in the chair, the moment you get up, your problems disappear. And he'd be like, oh, I want to sit in that chair. It's all anchors, but it doesn't matter because it's for positive intention, right? The room's going quiet.
I have a question. Sorry, I don't know if you've answered, Claire, but can you anchor like a color? Be like, when I wear black, I feel confident.
Yeah, you can. Yep.
It doesn't have to be like a particular chair or piece of clothing. It can be like a color.
I actually played with that, Leela. There was a whole chapter there where, you know, spirit had let me down. I was in a whole victim mode and I was wearing black. And if I was wearing black, they weren't allowed to talk to me. And it worked. So, don't talk to me. I'm not, you know, you're in the bad books.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm glad to see you got a colourful shirt back on then, Claire.
all the colours. Is it like, are you thinking about like your business uniformy color, or like where are you taking that?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of do that when I wear black. I'm like, yep, in professional makeup mode. I'm the makeup artist. But then I do wear black out as well. And I still feel like I talk to people as if I'm the makeup artist or I'm running a business.
Yeah. Would you then wear black on a first date?
Well, now thinking about it, I shouldn't. No. Or maybe it would be a good thing because then I would ask like actual questions.
Yeah. Well, if you ever wanted to collapse it, which I don't think you would, but yeah, it sounds like it's anchored beautifully. Yeah, love it. Cool. All right. I'm open to any other questions. Otherwise, we're ready for like to dislike. All right. Have a think about the food that you want to not use willpower to avoid.
I'm going to eat a lot of twirls leading up to next week.
Yeah, so anyone who wants to work with Ray, she's going to have two things that she's going to dislike. So, yeah, cool.
We all will be turning up with blocks of chocolate next week.
Yeah, well, you know, you use the Facebook group if you've got questions about, oh, what about if I get rid of this, or what I'm going, and that's the other thing, you do need to think about what you're going to replace it with, what's something gross. We'll talk about it more, but yeah, I've got a disgusting list for you if anyone comes to class without the idea of something gross, but very professional. That's why I'm not wearing black. Cool. All right, I love you and leave you, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See ya.